people of the internet. This is Kaijin Noir here with another theatrical movie review. However, I am not alone. Since I am back in America, I decided to once again do another collaborative review like last year with the Mighty Number 9 review. So you know who I'm with. It's none other than my good old pal, Pete.
Hey, how's it going? It's the yearly thing we're doing now.
Yep. Here's your like once a year cameo on the channel.
Oh yeah. That's how we do it.
However, this time we actually have another old school friend of ours from the good old innocent days of high school. Yes, we actually have our good friend Jose here.
What's up?
And so it's really funny that you are here because you, ever since high school, you actually have gone on to become a camera operator, right? A steady cam operator down in up in Hollywood, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, what exactly have you been working on most of the time?
I do a lot of commercials and music videos, and we do a couple of narrative stuff, but it's mostly commercial and music video work.
Okay.
Documentary stuff. We've been working on a documentary for the past 2 years.
Oh, nice. Okay. And so, not only do you have a background in film production, but you are also a Godzilla fan, right?
Hell yeah.
Let's see, what was your favorite one? Like, was it
Godzilla
Biollante?
vs. Biollante.
Ah, yeah. Did you ever got the Blu-ray release of that movie?
I think, yeah, I do.
Did we ever watch that together? I'm trying to remember if we did or if we didn't.
I think we may have done it, because I know we watched the first couple of them, of the 80s, 90s movies.
Yes.
Like, I know I showed you Godzilla 84, which you loved.
I liked that one
that was
a
like
lot.
Godzilla versus the Cold War.
That one was great.
Yeah. And so, like, here we are, all old friends from high school. All of us happen to be from, like, all band geeks back in high school. Like, I forgot, you were the tuba, right?
Uh-huh.
You were
Yes,
the tuba.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you were the trumpet, and I was the saxophone.
Do you think you could still play the tuba?
I just bought a trumpet.
Did you really?
did?
Try and learn how to play. It's way hard.
It's not too bad.
If you live in an apartment, it's like, oh man, like it's crazy.
Just
You
all you
can't
gotta do
practice.
is put mute and just play like that.
I know. I need to get a mute.
Yeah. That's one that makes it like the
I can't even-
High-pitched, yeah.
Well, I would eventually, because that's what I want to do, like jazz.
Oh, really?
But like, I can't even get the mouthpiece to buzz like properly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even get that.
I just don't think you're blowing right.
I'm not blowing it right.
Well, anyways, we've all come together to talk about a particular film that we were all excited about, which is why I decided to bring us all together for this
Hell yeah.
special collaborative
Oh,
review.
yes.
Which is a first time in a while that I've done a little ensemble review like this in person as opposed to like on Skype. So, what movie are we going to be talking about, gentlemen?
The Room.
No, not the room.
Not The Room. We're
A
talking
movie about the making.
the story behind The Room.
Yeah.
That came from the book.
That came from the book.
About
from
The Room.
From the actor who talks about The Room. See, this is the thing. This is a movie that came from a book about the making of a movie. So this is just like more than just like a movie about a movie. This is a movie about a friendship. This is a movie about
A disaster.
a disaster brought about by two people in particular.
Two artists.
Two artists in particular. Two artists with dreams and ambitions of making it big in Hollywood.
One might say a disaster artist. Ho ho.
So we have ourselves The Disaster Artist, as he said, based on the book The Disaster Artist, My Life Inside the Room, the world's, or the best, worst movie, or whatever that second subtitle was. But the original book was written by Greg Sestero, who played Mark in the original movie. So the original book was sort of like a memoir, sort of like a personal account of Greg's relationship with Tommy and how it evolved throughout the years, and how he also details his experience working on the movie and all the trials and tribulations that came with working on the movie from start to finish. So I really love the book. Actually, I own a physical copy of the book as well as the audio book, which we listened to a little bit of on our way to the AMC movie theater.
Yeah, I think you're the only one who's read and
yeah.
listened to the book.
It sounds
Right.
awesome. Though.
Did you get a chance to? Well, you listened to it. Did you read it yourself too?
Yeah, I read it myself once.
Oh, nice.
However, me being more of like a podcast person, I have listened to the audiobook countless times. It's the perfect thing because it's like an 11. It's like this audiobook is like an 11-hour like podcast where it's just Greg Sestero himself reading his own book and doing an amazingly spot on impression of Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
So it honestly feels like you're listening to an audio drama between two people.
How'd you get that book, the audiobook? Where did you get it?
Oh, it's on audible.com.
That is not a sponsor.
No, unfortunately not. I'm one of the few people who... Actually, I don't often see Audible sponsorships anymore.
Really?
Yeah, about a couple of years ago, every YouTuber was like, go to audible.com, put in this code, and you'll get a free
They probably figured
book.
they didn't need to.
That's what got me. You know what? It makes
Me
sense
too.
because Netflix stopped doing that too. Remember, even before that time, Netflix was pitching with everyone. Now all of a sudden, no one's pitching Netflix codes
Right,
anymore.
now it's like Dollar Shave Club, right?
That's the big one, yeah.
Yeah.
Dollar Shave Club,
Loot Crate.
Loot Crate. Actually, I don't see that one too much, but Nature Box is another big one.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh yeah, Nature
But-
Box.
Blue Apron.
Oh yeah, Blue Apron, that's the one
the
I've
Screw
seen.
Attack guy's the Blu-ray.
Oh, you know, the big one right now is that Food Runner one, whatever it's called, Postmates.
Postmates.
But that's like totally off topic.
But yeah, I am a huge fan of the audiobook and the original book, and I highly recommend you two and anyone else who hasn't read the original The Disaster Artist book. I highly recommend it because it's a very different experience than the movie we have here. It does tell the story of how Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau met and how they eventually got together to eventually make the Room movie. But it does leave out a lot of different details. Okay. But it does leave out a lot of details and kind of does a very streamlined rendition of the story. I was mentioning to you guys like the different differences between the book and the movie, or like the book's account of how the story went down and how the movie's account of how it went down.
But for the most part, I mean, obviously with movies, they can't be 11 hours.
Exactly.
Do you feel that the movie did the book justice in that sense, where it kind of cut down the unnecessary parts, or maybe the parts that weren't too important to the book or the movie?
Yeah, it did. It got to the point.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are certain like big, dramatic, game-changing moments that it left out.
Oh.
That I wish were there.
What? Like which like what moments?
Especially like the biggest moment that comes to mind was when Tommy Wiseau learns that Greg Sestero has been talking about him to his personal friends and family. At which point, Tommy Wiseau goes all crazy and says like, "Why do you talk about me? I told you not to talk about me. You betray me."
Wait, friends and family.
Yeah, mostly
Tommy's family?
No. He's talking about Tommy to Greg's friend.
Greg's, okay.
Yeah. Greg talks about Tommy to his friend.
No, we kind of did get a little bit of that, but not directed to Greg, right? I mean, we see like that kind of reaction in regards to the film crew.
Right.
Which makes sense within the movie.
The
Smaller scope of the movie.
Right. And the other part is like Greg's motivation for making the movie is a huge departure, where Greg in the book did the Room for financial reasons, while in the movie, Greg and Tommy decide to do the movie.
It's not pure, unadulterated friendship.
Right. Yeah, it's like, let's make a movie. Yeah. That's basically it. So, I think it overall did them justice. So, before we get into discussing the actual movie itself, I do want to know what has been your guys' history with The Room, the actual movie itself from 2003.
Oh, with me, I think we might have had the same exposure. I remember back when I used to watch Nostalgia Critic a lot. He mentioned The Room, and that was the first time I had ever even heard of The Room. Then their video got taken down because of Tommy Wiseau, and it started this whole mini drama. But after that, I kind of got into it. I never saw the movie whole by itself, but then we went and got to see the riff tracks, which was an amazing treat.
Yeah, and you can check out our review of our experience watching. It's kind of like the closest thing you can get to us like actually reviewing The Room itself.
Yeah. No, but I definitely want to go watch a midnight showing now of it, just of pure The Room.
Right.
That's I think at this point, the audiobook or the book itself and the pure movie itself is something I have yet to experience.
And it's really funny because like we actually went to the exact same movie theater that we saw the riff tracks Room like 2 years ago. It's like poetry. It sort of rhymes.
It was meant to be.
Each stanza rhymes with the last.
The riff track is the guys doing the Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, it's the Mystery Science
They
Theater
came
guys.
back to riff The Room.
Yeah.
Well, many different movies under the Riff Tracks banner.
It was like a collection of movies. And
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They still do it to this day.
So it's like they're just doing it independently now. They're still doing it.
Exactly.
Wow, that's
yeah.
crazy.
It has nothing to do with the new MST3K that's going on right now on Netflix with the
Oh,
new
yeah,
crew.
yeah. Oh, yeah, huh? There is a new one. I haven't even watched it.
I've seen a couple of videos. It's pretty good. Although, what was it? The new human host and the new voice actor for Tom Servo, they both practically have almost the same identical voice. So it's kind of confusing, difficult to discern who's talking.
While I haven't seen it, has Felicia Day, so.
So, what has been your experience with The Room today?
Well, I went to... Well, in film school, I think back in 2011 or 10, I had a friend that was really into it. She was really into just, like, trauma films and really, like, beyond B-movie films and things like that. And so there was, like... It seems like there was, like, a bunch of people at our school that were, like, for some reason, right then... going through this like really crazy The Room phase.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was weird, and I had like you listen to somebody talking about that, and you have like you have no idea what it is. The name doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
So you're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And so I literally just had what they told me to go on. Like, it's this weird movie about this really weird eccentric. Yeah, or maybe, yeah, it's a love movie that makes no sense. It's so bad, it's amazing. That's literally all I knew. And then so we went to, I don't even remember anymore. But like it was like some theater in Pasadena, and we saw it. You know, we saw it like one of those midnight screenings.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
Till this day. It was amazing. Like, you don't expect it because you just walk in and it's this really weird, this incredibly shoddily made...
It starts out with some great music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I've heard people say, which I think is a brilliant comparison. It's almost as if this movie was written by an alien who was told what a movie is, and then went and made a movie with just that information.
Based on like the limited amount of input he has.
It's funny that
crazy.
so you said it was around 2010, right? 2011?
Yeah, this was like 2010 or 11.
Matches up with our time too, right?
Probably, although I'm pretty sure I got into Nostalgia Critic during high school.
Right, but I mean, that video didn't come out till around that time as well.
Let's see, because I think this might have been 2008, I want to say.
Oh.
Yeah, like for Nostalgia Critic, because I think he started in 2007 or 8. So either 2008 or 2009.
Okay.
Within like the first 3 years,
He covered The Room.
He covered The Room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I didn't start hearing quotes from like general people
Right.
until I was in college. So maybe like 2012, 2011. I feel like that's when I started hearing people quote The Room. Like but
Yeah, I think it was getting like...
I'm pretty sure it was like more of a late 2000s that the movie started picking up.
Around 2010 to 13 is when it, right? Which is, I'm sure, I mean, does anyone know when James Franco, because they saw this, I think, recently. It's not like they saw this when it came out.
But they were aware of it. Like, especially with the billboard that was like up there for like, what, 5 years in Hollywood. It almost became like a surreal landmark of sorts. Of just like Tommy's hideous face right there. It's like The Room, now in theaters, even though it's like no longer in that one theater that it was like years ago.
Oh my god.
And he left it up there for like long after its theatrical debut.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So we have ourselves the story behind the movie. It's gonna be really weird talking about the movie because when I say the movie, I'm not sure the audience is gonna think, am I talking about the Room movie or am I talking about
Disaster Artist?
The Disaster Artist, or am I talking about the Disaster Artist depiction of the Room movie?
Oh god.
The original movie, this movie, or this movie's version of the original movie? or it's
Or the book.
or the book. Yeah. So with the disaster artist, we have the people. We had James Franco and Seth Rogen's production company. They were the guys that picked up this film, and I was very excited because these are two mainstream comedic actors, and I figured it must have been really exciting for both the real life Greg and Tommy to have their movie being have a story being made, a movie
Well,
made
he
about
wanted
their story.
Johnny Depp to play
Right.
himself.
I could see,
you imagine that?
I can honestly see that working.
I don't know.
I mean, Johnny Depp played Trump like a year ago.
Did he?
A year or two ago.
Johnny Depp?
Yeah, he did like a short little comedic video where he
And
played
he
Trump.
played Donald
I
Trump?
never saw that.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find up like a small little picture here.
I will say I am glad. Seeing this gives me confidence because I think I don't know if it's still active, but they also picked up. I think they want to make the movie Console Wars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's kind of nerdy, but it's just the history of like Sega and Nintendo going at it together.
Oh, was that?
Yeah, that's Johnny Depp as
I saw that whole
Trump.
movie. That's on Netflix. That is insane. I had no idea. That's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that's
dude?
Johnny Depp. See, if he can portray, if he can
Holy
disguise himself as Trump, I think Johnny Depp can honestly do a Tommy Wiseau with enough makeup, because that was one of the biggest fears I had for this movie, was whether or not James Franco could pull off Tommy Wiseau.
And
Tommy
he
Wiseau,
did.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Honestly, that's a huge surprise. Like, who would have thought that James Franco would have? Like, he looks close enough to him.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, with the makeup.
Right. Although, like, when you first think about it, it's like James Franco, he's too handsome, It's like Tommy Wiseau, he has a very
And he's
signature look, very lumpy,
a
wrinkly.
unique looking guy.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite a special mug right there. Very unique mug.
And honestly, I think the fact that within the movie, the fact that he's taller than his little brother.
That's also a big difference.
It's not what it's not
In real
reality.
life, it's
but
the
in the movie,
opposite.
it works.
Right,
a little bit,
Yeah, because I think Tommy in this
because
movie,
he looks up to him.
Right, exactly. And in this movie, Tommy's ego kind of matches his physical stature, where he's like towering over everyone because he believes he is like better than everyone else. He believes that it's his way, no one else's.
So intimidating too.
Yeah.
When he's making the movie, when he's directing, but when he's not directing, he believes.
Oh yeah, he's more like hunched over.
No, he believes nobody should keep anybody down. He believes everybody should just do what they want to do. You know what I mean? And
But mostly him.
Well, yeah, him and just him and his friend.
Yeah. That's very true, because as selfish as Tommy is in this movie, he does his best to try to please Greg,
his friend.
Right. For what purpose exactly? That's kind of debatable.
And it actually, it circles back. He's actually right. Isn't it say in the book somewhere? It's kind of like he wants Greg's
He wants
life.
Greg. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He wants,
so, in
the end, it's kind of it is for a selfish reason. Even though he's doing all this stuff for him. He gives him an apartment.
Absolutely. Like, he wants Greg to go out into Hollywood and fish out success so that he can learn from Greg, so that he can later on go and try it out himself for like the 3rd, 4th, 20th time in his like total lifetime. Because in the movie they make it seem like
no one knows how old he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, they make it out to be like this is Tommy's first time attempting to go out into Hollywood and try to be an actor.
Yeah.
Even though in the book, this was like his 3rd time.
Really? Yeah.
I didn't even know that until now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of little details there that kind of makes the thing even more sad and tragic. But I guess, again, they try to streamline this movie, and I guess it would have been more complicated to say, Tommy has gone through a lot of bad stuff.
Other than near the end, did you ever feel sympathy for Tommy?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this movie does a good job, especially with James Franco's performance, where many people have made fun of Tommy because they see him, he's a weird, goofy guy with a weird, goofy voice who's made a weird, goofy movie. But behind the accent, behind the ugly face and everything, he is a person who clearly has something, wrong with him mentally. He's not all there.
Maybe,
he's,
yes.
He's very delusional. And you can tell he's a very damaged person. He's someone who's been alone for so long, and that his relationship to Greg is probably one of the few genuine connections he has made.
Is that the
with
point
anybody.
that the book kind of drove home? Is that?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of a big facet of Tommy Wiseau's his personality. It's built on this this loneliness that he's experienced for most of his life. Or
Oh yeah,
something like
definitely. Yeah, I mean the book goes more in depth with the people he has met in his life, but
Tommy's met.
In Tommy's life, yeah. But with Greg, that has always been the centerpiece, where you have these two people who couldn't be further opposites apart, but yet have so much in common in many ways.
Yeah.
They're both are social misfits. They both want to be actors, but nobody's willing to support them except each other. Greg Sestero, he's handsome, but he doesn't have the confidence. Meanwhile, you have Tommy Wiseau, who is hideous. He is horrible at acting, but he has all the confidence in the world.
You could say that they're both horrible at acting. I mean, I think.
Right.
Have you seen The Room?
I mean,
Greg's performances.
Greg, he knows the material. He knows, he didn't give.
He's a better
shit.
actor. Yeah,
he's definitely
that's not
he may be
saying
better.
much.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he was the lead in Retro Puppet Masters. All right,
Huh.
Now,
Okay.
give him some credit.
clearly in the movie, I feel like we do see that there are some people kind of taking advantage of Tommy. Mm-hmm. Was that elevated more in the book too? I mean, because we slightly see it and we slightly get the idea.
Well, how so? Financially?
Financially, yeah, I feel like the people who are helping make this movie don't
going ahead and selling him all.
Yeah, they don't really care.
Yeah.
They're just here for a paycheck. They just
Right.
I mean,
That's how it was in the book as well. We're here for a pay. We're here to do our job. We're here for we're here to get the job done. Nothing more, nothing less. But God damn it, Tommy, you're not making it easy on us.
Yeah.
I
gotta say, if somebody shot for 60 days with out of a scheduled 40, which is already twice as long as what you would need for a movie like that,
right?
I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. Although what's weird is that Tommy never paid his crew based on the number of hours they worked.
Oh, really?
Right,
Is it a per day or
per day? Yeah. Yeah.
So that mean did he take advantage of that? Did he?
Oh yeah, because he was late.
13,
He was
14
he was late every day, so he had the
shit.
people arrive, much earlier than they would have had they just come at the same time Tommy came.
That's
Because he scheduled everybody to come early in the morning.
it's fuel for the fire right there.
And
shit.
it sounds like in the end you can't really blame anyone but himself.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this is also thing I liked is that they did portray Tommy Wiseau as a loner, someone who struggles with a lot of personal demons, someone who lashes out at the world and someone who's suffers a lot of paranoia. It feels like he is so ashamed of himself. He tries to cover up everything about his old life and attempts to sell himself as this cool, hip, young movie star, which is probably
20-year-old.
20-year-old. It's probably there's a reason why James Franco was probably allowed to play Tommy Wiseau, because maybe James Franco is that's who Tommy Wiseau sees himself as.
As James Franco.
As James Franco's version. He looks in the mirror and he sees the handsome version of James Franco.
Now,
that makeup was
just
really-
thinking about all this makes me wonder. We were talking about how he made his money, and you mentioned that he might be doing some counterfeit clothes, right?
Well, officially, yeah. The book goes into that, and you see a little bit of the sign in the background of his apartment.
I'm just surprised that a guy so delusional would even be able to be capable of doing pulling something like that.
The book does go into that, and it says, and they mentioned maybe he could be some sort of a savant, where it's he's a terrible artist, he's a terrible actor, but he's a ridiculously gifted businessman.
Who
knows exactly what to sell.
Well, what was
right
he? He was reselling clothing,
bootleg or damaged clothing from China or something like that. Yeah.
To who? To what country? Anywhere?
Just random vendors or random.
There's a market for that.
Yeah.
when did he have the? When did he find the time to do this?
The book is very vague
This
on
is
that.
Well, and again, that's the thing.
like Batman.
I just find it so crazy that someone like that. And your explanation kind of makes sense. Him being a savant, if he is a savant, it would make sense.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of insane that someone who is such trouble just functioning in life,
real life, yeah.
would be able to amass a fortune, like illegal or not.
Right. Yeah, and everyone has come up with different theories, and until we see that documentary Roomful of Spoons, we may never know.
When does that come out?
I'm not really sure exactly because we haven't heard a lot.
I love that they called it "Roomful of Spoons."
Right. It's a reference to the
Which you guys gotta
tradition.
go. You guys have to go. You have to. Oh my god.
Oh, I think it's already out.
Well, let's see. The last I heard was in November, where there was a court case. Because Tommy tried to prevent the movie from being released and tried to blackmail certain film festivals from airing it. It was like, if you air this, you'll never air my movie again.
You'll never air my movie again.
You don't have my permission.
In his I heard. So you guys didn't hear that? Like I heard somebody say that they found he was like Polish, or he admitted it, or something like that.
Oh yeah. It's like, but trace his mysterious creator's Polish roots. In terms
there
of
it
his
is. It's right
copyright.
there.
Yeah. So I guess he
Mysterious creators, Polish roots.
Right.
Man.
It is from the Hollywood Reporter.
Mysterious creator.
Let's see. The Ontario Superior Court Judge Marcus Cohen. Last week dismissed all complaints, which also includes claims that Roomful of Spoons mocked the room and invaded Wiseau's privacy.
Okay, well.
Although there is some going into a person's private business, there is some morally questionable ethical.
Well, I mean, not if it's like. If the guy is doing some unethical stuff, it's not unethical to kind of bring that stuff to light. Because if he was doing counterfeit stuff, that is illegal.
No. I mean, like the filmmaker who tries to go into Wiseau's privacy and dig up his old information about his old life.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what is this? What is he referencing? Like something about the film that they shouldn't be talking about, or his family or something?
Let's see. But yeah, the judge ruling lands. Okay, so apparently widespread December 8th. So I guess the movie Roomful of Spoons, the documentary did release December 8th, I guess around the same time as this movie.
No, I think that was a reference to the movie.
Okay, right. So, it's...
Roomful of Spoons.
So who knows when it might get released. Maybe it's already released, but for anyone who has information, please let us know in the comments below where we can find Roomful of Spoons, this documentary. For all we know, it could be on Netflix.
Right now, we don't even know.
We'll watch it right now.
They're all watching it right now. They've already seen it.
Yeah, but let's see. Anyways, so I've talked endlessly about my thoughts on James Franco's portrayal of Tommy Wiseau. What do you guys think of his portrayal?
Surprisingly fantastic.
I loved it.
I don't think anyone else in my mind could have done, short of Johnny Depp, could have done a better job. He's fantastic. Even have you seen him in interviews? He can
James
just
Franco?
do it. He can just do it on a whim now. He could just do.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he does he does it. He does his voice all the time in the interviews, just like Greg does in the.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's just fun to do his voice. Apparently, everybody's always doing his voice.
Like everybody can do the impression, but it's like James Franco. He gets into the role, physically. And
then
emotionally.
the makeup.
Yeah.
Because he looks nothing like. Tommy Wiseau has a short face, and then
like some weird,
like a
face.
wrinkly,
smashed face. It looks like he's been punched.
One too many times.
Looks like he's been freshly punched.
It's like it looks like the result of the meat that Rocky was done training with.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, and James Franco's face is he's got like a model face. They did a good job with the makeup and stuff, and making him look like a different person, and with his eye and stuff, and the long hair.
Yeah, I do like
the toupee or whatever that.
Just having that one eye just half open, just giving that glazed look. Like, well, what are you talking about?
Because it's a hard character to pull off.
Oh yeah,
you know, like what's that one dark about I forget, but yeah. Well, I mean, I don't like that's a really tough act, you know? And like honestly, he pulled it off so well that like honestly, even at the end of the movie, or I'm not going to say anything, but like there are some comparisons side by side on screen, and you have to like kind of look at them to figure out, you know, within the first couple of seconds, like which one is yeah.
It was so
Tommy.
faithful too. Like seeing that stuff recreated.
Yeah, he really got, and he you know, he buffed up a little bit because like I mean, he's a weird looking dude, but he was really fit.
Yeah. Well, he did have like the real Tommy had like a sort of like a pot belly. Well, like he would eat a lot, but while still like.
Well, yeah, he had like an old man fit body, you know, where he got a big stomach, but like it's hard. It's like
right. Whereas like RiffTrax would say his entire body looks like Madonna's arms.
Yeah, dude, and I felt for that girl that was playing Julia. What's her name?
Danielle. Juliet Danielle. She was playing.
I felt
Lisa.
for her during that.
By the way, what the hell was he wearing?
A sock.
A sock puppet for his puppet.
What? I don't know. Don't like actors who do sex scenes, don't they wear something?
Yeah.
To, like, I don't know. Have you ever worked on a sex? Have you ever shot a sex scene?
A sex scene like that, like a guy.
Yeah.
No, not like that. But like, it's so hilarious because he's all walking around like that.
Look at my
like,
ass.
Everyone's like mad at him and like arguing with him, and he's like got a sock on his cock.
The book does mention it's like Tommy Wiseau.
That really happened?
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau.
Oh my god.
The book mentions that Tommy Wiseau is surprisingly way too comfortable being naked around people who hate him.
Yeah. That's so funny, dude, because they're like, dude, what are you doing? Stop. You're being an asshole. And he's completely naked.
I got too many pictures of his ass. Just like it's stuck in
To
my
be glad
in my head
it's
right
James Franco's ass.
I guess.
You know, it's too bad they didn't show that recreation shot.
Like flexing his butt cheeks.
Nasty. Ugh. And then did they do a comparison at the end of their ass?
No. That's what I'm saying. Luckily, they didn't do
I don't
that.
remember if they did.
I'm surprised they didn't do the
That would have been funny.
the part where he walks out of bed and you see his ass for like a good 5 seconds.
How great is it that one thing I like is how they mention a lot of the stuff that like other people said, like how
Especially at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Where you see a bunch of random cameos of like actors and directors just talking in front of a black screen, like to an off-camera interviewer.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Yeah. I mean,
Because everybody loves that movie.
Yeah, and so you like see some actors, and then you see directors, and you see like fucking JJ Abrams out of nowhere.
Was a good addition.
Yeah.
Oh, and what did you guys think about? Oh, I mean, never mind. You guys don't. Nathan Fielder. Never mind.
Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
Let's see, and your thoughts on Tommy Wiseau?
Oh man, what else can I say? It was amazing. I agree
His
with-
portrayal of Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't.
No, what do you think of the actual person himself?
Oh well, he's a.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah, me too.
He's still walking around over there, like selling shit in Hollywood.
Yeah, but no, as for the portrayal,
I think he was amazing. I don't know if I could see anyone doing it just because it hasn't been presented to me. Mm-hmm. But just seeing what I got, I am 100% satisfied. I got exactly what I wanted from the movie.
yeah, maybe they should have gotten Doug Walker to do Tommy Wiseau doing the Tommy Wiseau show.
Yeah. Oh,
Which,
man.
funny enough, I think Tommy Wiseau actually did copy that bid and made
No,
the Tommy
he didn't.
Wiseau show. I think that was like the weird Adult Swim thing that he was doing.
Oh God.
Who?
Tommy Wiseau doing
did
the
something
Tommy Wiseau show.
He did something for Adult
Adult
Swim.
Swim? Oh yeah. He was like playing
was this?
aliens. Like this, like a couple of years ago. Aliens. The storyline was that like aliens abducted Tommy, and because he thought he was the greatest gamer ever.
You mean his family took him back?
Maybe, allegedly. And they forced him to play video games. And except he would fuck up all the time, so the aliens would be like, okay, we'll let you go for now, but next time we'll have you play these games for some contrived reason.
Wait, is this like the Conan O'Brien game? Like
Yeah, he's
It's like that where he just plays games and they just show it.
Yeah, and he a
What the
compilation, and it's like it's just like Tommy Wiseau fumbling about playing Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat,
And he's just like, how do you do this?
exactly,
This is crazy.
Like, I beat you.
I can't believe how violent the game is.
Dude, he probably made a boatload of money.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is like I think it was Tim and Eric that like brought him on to Adult Swim.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
of course. Tim and Eric. I love those. I love that show.
Yeah,
those guys are hilarious.
Like if Tom Wiseau had like more self-awareness about himself, he would be a Tim and Eric like.
I'm sure he does.
character.
But you know what? I'm sure he also. He loves the attention.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, the fact that he's still going to midnight showings kind of proves that.
Yeah, and you know he's like he likes it. He got into this for that. You know.
Yeah.
So
You think he's still involved in any illegal business now that he has like money from the room?
No, if he was involved in legal business, you know, Hollywood would have found out about it. Unless they were turn a blind eye. It's like, you know what, you're a national treasure, Tommy. We're good.
I go with turn a blind eye.
Yeah, we're gonna let you go, Tommy.
It's not like he's coming out in new movies, so I feel like Hollywood would.
Best Friend.
They came out with another one, Best Friend. I don't know if anyone's seen. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, nobody's seen it.
Well,
Who's
gee.
seen it? Who's?
Yeah.
You can only. I mean, lightning in a bottle, Tommy.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you saw his last project, The Neighbors?
No.
Oh, I heard about that.
It was terrible. It's like it's Tommy Wiseau attempting to legitimately
Be funny.
funny.
Yeah, lightning in a bottle. You can't do it.
And it's horrible. It's awkward.
I believe it.
It's
believe
like Tommy Wiseau plays like the landlord, or like the landlord of a bunch of tenants in an apartment complex.
That just sounds ridiculous.
And he also happens to play one of the tenants as well.
Oh God!
He's pulling Eddie Murphy.
Yes, because he wants to. I want to show off my acting range. I can play young person and old grumpy person.
Wait, what's that called? Neighbors?
The Neighbors.
Neighbors.
I think it was like the first season was on Hulu. It was on Hulu.
It was more than one season.
It was 2015, and
it's a TV series.
A TV series, yeah.
I thought it was a movie. We were talking about a movie.
Let's see.
Oh,
But I don't think they were ever able to create another season or so.
Oh, it looks horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks awesome. Oh hi, America.
Oh, hi, neighbor.
What the fuck? Hi, neighbor. How are
hi,
you?
neighbor. Welcome to the neighborhood, neighbor.
Dude, so I really think Tommy is like some kind of really like unique little wild card that could be shit or it could be gold.
No,
So if you put him in the right scenario,
I think it'll only be shit from now on. Because the only reason why it was gold was because he took it so seriously.
Right. But
look
with
at
the
that
Neighbors,
picture of him.
both of them.
Look at that. This is real?
This is real, man.
How did I never hear about this?
Because nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy because this looks like it could have been like comedy gold.
Wow. But that's the thing. It wanted to be comedy gold, but it's not. It's like what happened with what was it, Birdemic 2, where it's like, oh, people thought the first one was funny, so we're gonna be legit funny now.
I'm good friends with one of the guys that worked on both of those.
Oh, really?
And he knows everything about it.
No way.
Oh man, he I mean his name's Ryan, but I mean like, when I first moved to LA, he was like a PA on some music videos we were shooting, and he was telling me that it's like some old Vietnamese dude that like just got
James Nguyen.
Yeah, James Nguyen, whatever. Yeah, and him.
Yeah.
And then he like saved some money, I guess.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Because he was
and
like like some salesman or something.
Yeah, and he hired Ryan, my buddy, and a couple of other people, not even that many, and they shot this really shitty ass movie, and it turned out to be Birdemic.
Oh my god!
And then he saved up, and then made another one.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, the way Ryan explained it just seemed like one of the stupidest things, but it was just like really fun to shoot.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was like kind of like the same scenario as this, where like they're people and they don't want to let each other down.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want to stomp on your friends'
hopes and
enthusiasm and dreams.
Yeah.
You know, and like look how far it got. That's another example. You know, Birdemic. It's like that's almost somewhat of a household name.
Now I want Birdemic to have a movie just like this.
The making of
Birdemic, yeah.
oh yeah, making up. I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
That would be
Making up Birdemic.
interesting.
Netflix exclusive.
I don't think it'd be as interesting as this because I don't think they have a Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, James Nguyen is a delusional filmmaker.
He sounds like a weird guy.
Who thinks like he's like the next Hitchcock and Al Gore mixed.
Al
But
Gore and
you know-
Hitchcock.
Oh, because they're environmentally friendly.
yeah, remember it's like, wow, that was a great movie. An inconvenient truth.
Oh, by the way, I drive a hybrid Mustang. It gets 100 miles to the gallon. What the heck was up with that?
Because yes, that's my favorite hybrid, the Mustang.
If you're gonna hybrid, you better hybrid in style, I guess.
want a Happy Meal.
Oh yeah, and then I haven't seen the second one. Like the second one, it was the same effects, just more of it. or
Yeah,
something.
it's just like it's literally the same
Yeah, yeah,
movie,
it's the same
but with
thing.
bits of intentional comedy. You can't see it, audience, but I'm doing air quotes on comedy.
Oh my.
Do we get another dance scene?
Yes.
Like how?
With the same, they brought in the same actor.
Wait, you're serious? I was
Yeah.
joking.
No.
Oh my god.
It's the same fucking movie, man. The dude was creatively bankrupt to just go back and do his own movie again, but with shit comedy and then random zombies and cavemen thrown in just because it's like whatever, they're
Oh
popular.
my god.
Sounds like Human Centipede.
You sell me some gas. I'm gonna sell me some gas right now.
Or to go John Tron, I'm gonna pay you extra for that gas.
Was it? I wonder what they shot that. It looked like they shot it on like a camcorder. or
Yeah, it did. And everything's like blurry as fuck.
So, you know, in my opinion, that is the worst movie. Because if you're going to call it, if we're going to be official about this stuff, like a movie needs to be distributed to be called, to be like on this list. And Birdemic was, right? Do you know that?
I honestly
Is it?
have no idea if it was like self-release or had a distributor.
Because if it was, then I say that is the worst movie ever made. And The Room is probably a close second. Because The Room is actually, it's nice.
Like yeah, it
It's
is.
nice-
It's
it's a
like
nice
they got some professional people.
I don't know, man. You got
Somewhat professional.
Sharknado, and that's pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then you have Monos, the Hands of Fate, which is like
God.
purely boring. It's
Puma
like
Man?
boring as hell. Puma Man. Let's see, fucking Gamera, the space super monster Gamera, where it's like just a majority of it is just stock footage.
Yeah, or the Hercules films.
The Lou Ferrigno Hercules movies.
No, the MS3TK, whatever, the Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, okay. Those Hercules.
Yeah, they did the whole series, whatever. It's some old crappy Italian
Yeah.
movies.
Or like Robot Monster.
Robot Monster.
The one with the gorilla with the diver's suit helmet. That's their
yeah.
sad excuse for an alien.
Oh my god.
You talk like a human, not like a Roman.
Oh my lord.
But yeah, back to the Disaster Artist. Let's see.
Getting so off track.
We mentioned we were mostly talking about the Tommy Wiseau, but what do you guys think of Dave Franco as Greg Sestero?
He was great. I don't know if his demeanor is that similar to the actual Greg Sestero, but within the confines of the movie,
It works.
it worked really well because he was like he really because he's his actual little brother, and he kind of plays it like he looks up to him a little bit.
And see, I feel like at times they almost played that a little too much. Like he was too eager. He was too like just
Yeah, he's,
blind to like seeing who like Tommy was. He was like just put on blinders and just let him like take the reins.
Yeah, in
Right.
the name of friendship.
yeah.
You know?
He is very like wide-eyed and like they try and turn that into like a character arc.
Yeah, but that naivety, I feel like, is just a little too much for me in the movie. I think that's the only
that
the only
wide-eyed
gripe.
innocence,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's the only gripe I really have with this character. He's too easily like misled or too easily like just
Swept away. He was
Yeah.
swept away off his feet by Tommy.
yeah.
Well, they started it off strong. They meet, and he moves in like
It was love
Yeah.
at first sight.
right away.
Not even
you
a
know?
first date.
They play it like they play it real strong like that. In the story. But you know, I think that's how they set up this whole like he's almost obligated because they're so intertwined. You know, so incredibly so quickly that he's kind of almost like obligated to like you know to be with his friend and see things through and. You know, they're so similar in so many ways in the movie. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that they make Greg come off as a bit more naive, more
Right.
childish, and it takes a while for him to wisen up. Meanwhile, in the book, Greg always was like on his toes, constantly thinking, "What is like Tommy's real deal?"
I feel like it doesn't help that he also has a very young look to him as an actor.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of takes away, because I feel like when I see Greg, I see like an older man.
Man,
Like,
yeah. And Greg definitely looks a lot older than he actually looks, because they kept the ages right, where he's like barely 20 or 21 in the both the book and the movie.
I was surprised at how young he was.
Right. And it's also kind of weird when you think about like this 20-something-year-old man hanging out with a 50-year-old dude.
Is that how old he is?
Roughly, yeah. Nowadays, it's been 10 years, so Tommy's got to be in his
He's
like
got to
60s,
be in his 60s
right now.
He looks
Yeah.
like he's in his 60s.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help with the whole weird the off chemistry with the younger guy and the
because it's clear
older
like,
guy living in the same.
they did carry that aspect from the book, where it's like it's clear that there's some sort of homoerotic like attraction that Tommy has that he's not willing to admit. It's like a subconscious thing where he gets jealous when
He's talking to another girl.
when he's talking to a girl, when he's dating and wants to leave, move in.
Successful, yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's upset at Greg partly because he is more successful at landing acting gigs, and also it's upset that like he is leaving him. He's like, no, he's mine. Or even within the book, it's like nobody talks to Greg except me.
He said that in the book?
Yeah.
Did he say that in the movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think he said that in the movie.
No, but he's very like
I make this
protective.
movie for you, Greg.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing he did say
one
for
line.
sure.
I do this
yeah.
movie for you.
You want to share a bed? Haha, you should see her face.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, it's like, I bet you he was serious there. He's like, let's see what happens if I ask him. I can
my
make
God.
joke afterwards.
Dude, can you imagine that going? Like in the movie though,
Yeah.
jumping in a car with like a dude that's 30 years old.
Oh my god. Calling you babyface.
And then you go to his apartment. It's a 1-bedroom. We find out.
Yeah.
And he's like,
You
"Oh,
forgot to
what
mention that detail.
are you talking about? We're gonna share a bed, Mark." Haha. Or Greg.
Let's go dance together. Come on.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
I felt so uncomfortable for his mom. I would not have let my kid.
that was like straight up lifted from the book. That whole series, that whole moment. Except his mom has a French accent in the book. I'm not sure why they dropped that here, but
So his mom's French. In real
I
life?
think half French, half Sicilian. I think or
That is adorable.
half Sicilian or half. I think it was like half French, half Sicilian.
So you have this half French, half Sicilian woman trying to
Like
make
told me like
make sense of what's going on with this like random like European dude taking her 19-year-old
she
son
straight
to LA.
like she straight up tells him
That's
like
nutty.
she straight in the book she straight up tells Tommy like no sex, Tommy.
Wait, for reals?
Yeah. It's
She
like
says that to him?
yeah, it's like
Is Greg there?
Yeah. Greg says, "Mom,
Mom, stop embarrassing me in front of my new friend Tommy.
like don't touch Greg.
Don't touch
my son."
I can't even. I'm so mixed up with this Tommy accent. I can't even do it.
Tommy, he doesn't understand the context of what she means by no sex, and he's like,
what?
And he says like, we all do it. Excuse me,
I'm
Tommy?
sorry, you crazy lady. She mom's a crazy lady.
That was also
She's
from
a
the
crazy
book.
lady.
Like the movie is sprinkled with lines of dialogue straight up from the book.
This whole thing just sounds preposterous.
Yeah, that's why I love
This
the
whole
Disaster
fucking
Artist, like the book and the movie.
This whole thing
it's a
sounds
crazy
preposterous.
thing. It's like a very crazy story that's like too good to be true, but it is. it was a thing. It happened,
And now we can celebrate
and
it.
now we can celebrate it in cinematic form.
You know, and good for Tommy for making a movie and, you know, and people liking it and making, you know, a bunch of people happy for this long.
Oh, I'm sure he was a bad sport about it for a long time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
Behind closed doors, yeah, he's probably,
he is a
probably mad about it.
I like how this movie doesn't pull any punches. He is a horrible person.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Especially on set. You know, he's
You saw how bad he got.
he berates
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, I'm curious what it says in the book because it
Oh,
probably
it's
goes
even probably
more
worse. Yeah,
detail.
worse things. Yeah.
And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the later success of it stroked his ego and made him worse.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure it affected him. Somebody like that, yes, absolutely.
I mean, look at that face.
Quickly.
You think that face is the face of an angel? I don't think so.
And you know what? Probably the reason he hasn't done more things is because people won't let him or fund him or anything. I don't know if he would need funding, but like...
Right, because he's got a bottomless pit.
But
Apparently.
he might have a hard time finding... Even though The Room is somewhat successful in its own way, I'm absolutely sure... You know, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I know a lot of people who jump at the chance to work with him, so I really don't know. To be honest, I take back what I was going to say.
But in a serious way?
After seeing The Disaster Artist, would you be willing to be his cameraman?
Absolutely.
Really?
He would just want to see the shit that goes down.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
It's a shit show. You know, who doesn't want to watch a shit show?
I mean, the cameraman isn't going to catch any heat for whatever you make. You know, it's going to be him or the writer and the producers. You know, it's going to be them. It's not going to be the camera. So I would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
And you'd have a great horror story to tell everyone.
Be like, wow, look, I got to. Oh my god! Get your little GoPro and like put it on the camera and just record everything for yourself. See what's going on.
Maybe you should try to hook up with James Nguyen in case he does Birdemic 3.
You know we can, yeah, because they're good friends. My friend Ryan and that whole crew. It's not that many people.
Right. It's like what, like
I don't know. I don't even know, dude. It was a
7
long
people who made that movie.
Yeah, that was like one of the first stories. Like that was literally maybe the second job I worked on in LA. I met Ryan and he was talking about that. It's a weird small town, you know.
Yeah. So let's see. Speaking of the camera work, the one thing that did bother me about the movie was like their choice of cinematography, where they decided to go for this like what was it voyeuristic shaky cam, where it feels like some dude is just invisible some invisible cameraman is following Tommy and Greg while like secretly filming everything from different angles, and everything's like very like shaky, moving all very wobbly kind of camera work. For me, I find that very disorienting. Kind of makes it difficult for me to focus on what's happening because the frame is moving about. I've seen this kind of wobbly cam used in certain films, especially when a scene is shot in a house or inside a enclosed room where there's like a close-up of 2 people just having a conversation, sitting down or standing, and they usually have like the camera that would slowly wobble about. You'd see this a lot in like Breaking Bad.
Well, it just makes it more dynamic.
For me, it personally didn't bother me.
But I feel like
I could tell some parts
more
could have,
exaggerated.
because you know, I noticed some parts, and I'm sure those are probably the parts that were bothering you. There were some parts where it was a little bit, but I mean, honestly, it wasn't to like Cloverfield level or Blair Witch level,
Like any found footage level.
To me personally, it was actually, I think it was really well done. Whoever
it was complimentary to the.
It didn't take me out. As long as it doesn't take me out, and it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not actively trying to look for things in the frame, which is like that's like level 10. You know what I mean?
They actually made it tie into the movie itself, and it kind of makes sense with
you guys had an interesting interpretation for that creative choice.
In the movie, we find out that Tommy hired an extra cameraman to be filming.
Secretly
filming like the making of the movie, and I kind of take that like, oh wow, so that's kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah. It makes you feel like you're there with them, watching it all happen, just like everyone else is watching this happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's kind of like a voyeuristic kind of, you know, a more personal. A lot of art films kind of try. It just gets you closer to what's happening in the movie. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
I think it worked for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine if it was all sticks, all on a tripod, just looking? It would be it's a small change, but it would be a completely different feel for the whole movie.
I guess so. Yeah, it would have like a less of that like in the moment feel to it.
Yeah.
And it will come off, I guess, like when you read the book, it feels like you're watching scenes out of a movie. Like, especially when they go into, like, montages of Tommy, like, fucking up his line over and over again.
That was great in the movie, too, by the way.
Did that happen for reals?
In the twice they go over that in the book.
Twice they talk about that one time? Or does that happen twice where he forgets something, like, 30 times.
Yeah. the
his own script?
Right, yeah. He can't remember his own goddamn script.
Maybe he did get in a car crash. Maybe he did get in a car. Like, how does that happen to anyone?
I don't know, man.
That's nuts.
I guess, like, so are there any other aspects of the movie that you want to talk about before we wrap things up? Like any
Honestly,
other characters?
I think it was really well paced. Mm-hmm. It was very well acted, and it was incredibly. It was really nicely put together. It was nicely edited. Nicely written. Honestly, I think in terms of like Academy, like talk of this kind of thing, I really think it really deserves that. Even for what it is. I think it's a well made enough movie. It's really well made. I think it really deserves a chance. And what else was I gonna say?
Would you recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen The Room?
Absolutely. I was gonna say this movie. If you watch this movie, even if you have no idea what The Room is, you're gonna want to go and watch it.
Right
after this, and it's still, and you're still, it's just
it's just a story of like a friend. It's a story. At the end of the day, it's a story about a friend, about friendship.
Yeah.
Story about dreams. Story about obtaining the unobtainable. It's very inspirational in a way where it's like, sure, Tommy's an asshole, but at the same time, this is like a damaged individual who's desperately grasping at something and isn't willing to, and he's willing to go as far as he could just to obtain it, while at the same time not losing the one thing that's precious to him.
And in the end, he means well, and the people around him aren't willing to totally stomp on him. They're still, in the end of the day, even at the end of the movie, after everything, they're cheering for him. Because he's Tommy Wiseau. He's like such a likable dude.
Yeah, unique.
You love Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. I do feel like, and this might come out kind of weird, but I do feel like just kind of finding out that he has so much money does kind of take away from the sympathy for him. Because I thought he kind of like put his blood, sweat, and tears and all he had into this. All his, he used the last bit of his resources, but I couldn't find out the guy's rich. I'm just like, oh.
Well, is he still rich?
I believe so. I want to say, oh yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he makes a lot of money off of these midnight screenings.
But it's funny because he doesn't. Honestly, like I feel like I should not like him more. Because he's got all this money, right? But like he doesn't seem to flaunt it too much.
Right, and here's the thing.
But then he does, because he gets the limo and stuff.
Well, he flaunted his car in the beginning.
But he doesn't flaunt it in a way that, in a negative way, or in a
It's like he tries to come on, like both in the movie and in the original.
It's kind of innocent the way he flaunts his money.
A bit, like in the book, in the end of the movie, he's a person who believes he is famous, even like before he was legitimately famous. Like, so he's always trying to portray himself like he was a legit member of Hollywood. So does the book
paint him in a little bit more of a negative light than the film does?
More negative and more sympathetic.
It's just a little more extreme in both directions. Like, it's more sympathetic.
Yeah, because it's like he's a very complicated man.
Interesting.
Yeah, and of course there's the whole idea of like money clearly cannot buy talent.
You can buy some acting lessons though, but I don't think that's going to help either.
You can use it to buy acting lessons. You can use it to buy a digital camera and like what is it? A film camera
and a film crew
and a film crew.
Yeah, a film and a digital
camera
crew at the same time, shooting an entire movie for 60 days.
Money can buy all of that, but it cannot buy.
That's probably why it cost $6 million.
Oh yeah.
Well, it can't buy talent because they got James Franco.
Well, then again, no, James.
Well,
Franco.
He earned James Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah, he earned it through his own sheer will.
But he didn't even want James Franco. He wanted Johnny Depp. And then James Franco's like, no, I'm going to play you. He's like, no. He's like, yes.
You will.
You betrayed me. Everyone's always been...
He waves his hand. You will let me do this, Tommy. I definitely agree with you guys. Anything else before we give out our final thoughts and ratings?
No, I think we're good. I think we've said most of the stuff we wanted to say.
Yeah.
After a while, there's only so much you can say about The Room, and even with this movie, there's only so much you can talk about without just.
But I mean, it's just amazing that somebody. Because there's a million bad movies made every year, So it's just incredible that this dude made a movie that was so bad that that people liked it. Not only that, but people like it so much that they play it in movie theaters to this day, and they're sold out. And they're sold out right now. Like, you can't even go watch it in LA until into January. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they're all packed. You know? And, like, people love this guy.
Right. And I guess it's like, even if you did fail what you initially set out to do, if people do genuinely enjoy your work and they constantly come back to it, I'd say that is certainly somewhat of a degree of success in my book. And so, like I said, I mentioned near the beginning of this recording that it is somewhat of an inspirational movie for those who want to, achieve your dreams against all odds or against all opposition, even if no one believes you. There's still a chance for you to succeed in doing the impossible.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So let's see. I'll be giving The Disaster Artist a solid 4 out of 5. It doesn't go like quite beyond, like it doesn't go like fully there to where I feel like it will captivate like the hearts of millions. No, I feel like it's more like garnered towards like a very niche demographic of people who enjoy bad movies or movies that are in that so bad they're good category. And it's like, it's funny, it's dramatic, it's inspirational, it's a lot of these things, and the actors they have here on display do a great job, and all of them have a great level of chemistry where they're able to make all the pieces fit together well.
Nice.
Yes.
Would you say that you would recommend you see The Room first before you watch this?
Definitely, but if you can't, I still feel like you'll have yourself a solid experience. Cool. And that will probably motivate you to see The Room
again.
Yeah. No, like if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I'd give it a solid, like, just go watch the movie, man. You should. I mean, whether you've seen it or not, I feel like it's just something you have to experience.
Right.
It's a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be left out.
The movie or the Room or the Disaster Artist?
The Room.
The Room. And but you should watch this movie because it's a big cultural experience. It ties you into The Room itself.
Right. Yeah.
There's some moments in the theater where it felt like I was back in the theater watching The Room. I'm telling you, it's a really cool experience because everybody's like really together. And everybody's chanting.
Oh man, that riff tracks.
It's amazing.
I feel like the riff tracks had a bigger sense of like like we're all in this together.
It's a cool. Especially in the theater.
This had it too, but I feel like I felt more in common with the people at the riff tracks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the real thing though.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they're the most
intense the whole time. Everybody's yelling, "Go, go, 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 go!" The whole movie. It's insane. But yeah, I would probably, if it would have to be out of 5, I would honestly give this a generous 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Just because, I mean, if it were 10 out, if we're gonna do this whole thing, where if it was 10 out of 10, I'd give it like a 8 or but I would just whatever. That stuff's not really important.
Right. It's just a number we tack on.
It's a really good movie.
Damn good movie.
And for me personally, I give it a rating of 5 out of 5 because I personally, I really enjoy The Room, and this movie about The Room is, that just being about The Room just makes me like it all that much more. It's really well paced, which I really appreciate. I love, it's really well paced. The character progression feels natural. The acting is fantastic. The comedy it's spread out very evenly and effectively, and it's used effectively. And it's a real joy to see all these different comedians.
Oh yeah.
So that's another thing I'm a sucker for, is like just seeing
celebrity cameos
doing what they do best, which is like seeing comedians do comedy. And so it like literally I don't really have, and I mean, just seeing all the, you know, spots by my house and stuff like that, it's always cool. So that's like personal touch. LA, it's like if it's a local movie. So I mean that's cool too. So yeah, I mean there isn't really too much for me that I didn't like, so I would, you know, I would have to give it a 5 out of 5. I thought it was a great movie.
All right, excellent. So I guess that should wrap things up for our thoughts on the Disaster Artist film, our thoughts on The Room as well, and our thoughts on like the culture surrounding The Room in this hour-long discussion of ours. So thank you very much, Pete and Jose, for allowing me the opportunity to get together and discuss a movie discuss a topic that we have been all fascinated with for many years. And I'm glad we were able to have this time where we could all get together, reunite for the first time in a year for us, for both of us, but the first time in years, like it's all of us together.
No, it was fun, and I'm glad out of everything we got to see, it was this.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see this movie for a month.
Yeah,
I was afraid.
I've been waiting for this for 2 years since it was first announced, because the book came out in like 2014, I believe. Or maybe it was 2013, and the audiobook came out 2014.
That's exactly how I feel about console wars.
I bet you that's how long many people have waited for Ready Player One.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm excited for that one. I gotta get that book before I go back to Japan.
I haven't read it either. I have it on audiobook, I think, but I never took a peek.
Yeah, because I heard about the ending of Ready Player One. It's like, ooh, I gotta read it now because I know they're not gonna do something like that in the actual movie.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a surprise to me.
Planet Tokusatsu.
What is that?
I'll explain it later.
Tokusatsu?
That's the Japanese word for special effects. So, as I said, I thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts on The Disaster Artist as well as The Room phenomenon in the comments below. I have been Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
Pete.
Jose.
And until next time, everybody, take care.
Bye.
See you next year. Like literally next year.